welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little different, and I'm calling it Why Jane Eyre is Not Cliche. So when you describe the basic premise for Jane Eyre, it kind of sounds like just another billionaire romance. It's practically a whole genre these days, the billionaire romance, where the girl goes to work for the billionaire in some capacity, they fall in love. I didn't grow up with Jane Eyre, and I wasn't introduced to it till I was older. I think I actually saw a TV version first and then I read it, but I was really drawn to it from the beginning. I mean, I love the whole gothic vibe to it, the kind of melancholy gothic vibe that has going on, but for a long time I almost felt embarrassed that I enjoyed it so much, because it does sort of, when you boil it down to its basic premise, it seems a little bit cliche. I kind of had an epiphany of why I enjoy it so much, and I thought I would share it with you, because it's not just a romance about a poor girl who ends up winning the love of a very wealthy man. It's about so much more than that, and I really made the connection recently. I think it was earlier this year or late last year, and it suddenly hit me why. Basically, to me, it's a story about a quiet, kind of reserved young woman who's very observant, but she's not really loud or flashy or strong, maybe in the traditional sense of the word. And throughout the story, people are trying to impose their will upon her, and she never lets them. She knows her own value, in spite of a terrible history. So basically, I mean, it starts where her parents die, and so her aunt is taking care of her, and her aunt's family is very abusive, and her aunt tries to make her feel terrible about herself, but also uses really religion against her. There's that awesome iconic line where she gets the minister to come talk to her and is trying to get her to admit that she's a wicked little girl. And he's like, you know what happens to wicked little girls when they die? They go to hell or something. And she's like, then I will stay in very good health and not die. It's like the stubbornness of, like, she's refusing to be manipulated. Like, I'm not going to admit I'm this wicked little girl, because I'm not. You guys are treating me terrible. And then even later she goes to that school that is horrible to her, and they're basically trying to pound all sort of independent thought from these girls. I don't know what their purpose was, but physically, though, it could have broken her spirit. But she comes out of it as this great person who's imaginative and compassionate, and she keeps her thoughts to herself a lot. You know, she's not like an activist, but she's her own person, and she goes out to seek her own life and kind of put it behind her and say, I'm going to be my own person. So there's the second, I think, they try to impose their will on her, and she won't allow that. She's not flamboyant about it. It's not this flamboyant, rebellious personality. She's just very consistently refuses to be manipulated and have people force their will upon her. And then she works for Mr. Rochester, who's obviously a very strong personality, and despite his faults, falls in love with him. But when he wants that love on his own terms, and wants her to compromise, because he is married, he wants her to compromise everything she believes to get that kind of love and security, she won't do it. So even though she loves him, when he tries to force his will on her, she won't allow it, and she just leaves. And again, she does it in a very quiet way. She slips away because, I mean, face to face, she can't quite go toe to toe with him, and I relate to that. But she knows what's important to her, and so she leaves. And then she meets up with her cousins, and he wants her to come with and be his wife as a missionary, and is like, all these things must have happened to you because you're meant to be a missionary. And it would have been so easy for her to listen to that and say, okay, circumstances have led me here, maybe this is what God wants for me, maybe all these things have happened for a reason, I'll go with you. But she doesn't want to, and she knows that's not where she's supposed to be, and it would be, if she went, it would be for all the wrong reasons. And so again, even when St. John tries to force his will upon her and say, this is the direction you should go, she's just like, nope, I'm gonna teach school here, and I'm gonna find a way to be content in my life, even though circumstances are outside of my control. And so it's like, again and again, you see these people with like these stronger personalities just trying to like force their will upon her and turn her into the person they want her to be, or make decisions for her and say, we're going to make decisions for you, your life should go this way. And she like just steadfastly is just kind of like a little rock. And it's like, nope, that's not what I'm going to do. That's not who I am. And she like makes her own path in the world despite all of that. And I mean, I relate to that today as a person who's more quiet. It's easy for stronger personalities to try to force themselves on you. But I mean, thinking about then even more the time that it was written and the role that women held, it's just beautiful to see, I think, how she navigates all those situations. And that is one of the big reasons that I really, really appreciate it as a book. So that is why I would say Jane Eyre is not cliche. I'm sure there are many, many other reasons. I'd love to hear your thoughts below if you want to chime in on the conversation. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you guys have a great day. And if you haven't read Jane Eyre, then you should.